Getting out of the cab and grabbing your bag while the driver, who is extremely generous and offered to help you get your stuff from the car. After taking the bag, you turned and walked into a hotel. You know that you didn't book a 5-star hotel, so inside of it isn't breathtaking, but it was nice and comfy anyway. Upon arriving at a front desk, elderly woman in her 50s greeted you. Good evening. She bowed slightly. Hello, ma'am. How can I help you, dear? A woman asked while looking at you warmly and giving you soft smile. You smiled back and said that you have already booked a room. Hearing that, she asked you for your She asked you your name, and not long after finding your reservation, she handed you a key and explained the way to get to your room. You can take the elevator over there, she said, pointing towards the elevator, and go to the third floor, then go left down the hallway, and you will find your room number on the door. You thanked her but asked, are there stairs, because you are not comfortable with elevators. So she pointed you to the stairs. Enjoy your stay, dear, she said with a warm smile. After you took keys from her with a smile of your own, you thanked her again and bid your goodbyes to her. When you finally climbed the stairs to the third floor and you found your room, you thanked the driver too and paid him. Bidding your goodbyes, he left and you entered the room. It was not too much, neither big, neither small. The room looked pretty cozy. It had a light shade of caramel color walls. In the middle of the room was queen size bed, which was white with a caramel blanket over it. Behind the bed stood a big window which overlooked the city. The room had a door at the left which you assumed led to the bathroom. Closing the door behind you, went to check those doors and finding the bathroom. It was small and in the same shades just like the rest of the room. Looking at a watch, you saw that it's a little over 6 p.m. Feeling sticky, you decided to take a shower. Grabbing your things, which consisted of shorts and a tank top, you headed into the bathroom. After much needed long hot shower which relaxed your sore muscles a little bit, you went to bed. For the first time, you don't even know how long you fell asleep as soon as your head hit the pillow. You woke up much later than you expected. It was almost noon and you had a job interview at 12:30 p.m. Getting up fast, you went to your suitcase and grabbed your black fitted jeans, black shirt, grey suit jacket and paired that with black ankle high boots. After getting ready, you brushed your hair and put on a little bit of makeup. Heading towards the door, you stop to look. Do you have everything that you need inside the bag? After checking to see that nothing's missing, you walk out. Exiting the hotel and catching a cab wasn't that hard, so after sitting inside, you gave the driver the address of the hotel you are heading to. Well, one thing you learned from this ride is that Korea is a busy city. Your driver were driving so painfully slow because of the traffic. Finally, you got to the hotel, you paid the driver and exited heading towards the entrance. And let me tell you, the hotel is magnificent. From outside and inside, it's huge. From outside, it's covered in shining glass from which you can't see inside. But when you walk inside, it's simply breathtaking. The whole hotel lobby is open. It has a high ceiling which gives the impression that there is more room. In the middle of the lobby are big, beautiful rounded stairs which are covered with red carpet all the way up. It's furnished with black leather couches that surrounded little glass tables. After you stop drooling over this place, you turn to the left and headed towards the reception desk where you was greeted by a pretty red-haired girl not much older than you. Hello, how can I help you? She said as she gives you what you assume is her best fake smile. Hello, I'm here for the job interview. They said that I'm scheduled at 12:30, but if I by any chance comes earlier, so report to reception. You said, smiling at her. She looked at the watch. Oh, okay, then give me just a moment to call a boss, she said while holding a phone to make a call. Not long after, maybe a couple of seconds, she turned to you and told you directions to get to the office. You made your way to the office and stopped in front of the door. You could feel your hands shaking a little, so you shook them. Taking deep breaths to calm your nerves and racing heart, you finally knocked on the door. After a muffled come in, you walked in. Hello, you greeted as you come closer to the desk. Hello, miss, I'm Min Sage. A man in his mid-40s said. It's nice to meet you, Mr. Man. The pleasure is mine, he said with a smile. Our receptionist told me that you are here for a job interview, correct? Yes. Okay, for which position did you apply? And can you give me your resume? He smiled while saying, just a second. After finding your resume in the bag, you handed it to Mr. Man. Here you go. And I applied to the position of a translator, you said with a slight smile. Sage looked at you and his smile slightly flattened. For the translator position, are you sure? He said with confusion on his face. Yes, I'm sure. I can show you an email in which it's written, you said with a slight frown. No, it's okay, but unfortunately, I must say that position for a translator was filled yesterday. I'm very sorry for wasting your time, he said with slight pity in his eyes as he handed you back your resume without even opening it. Oh, disappointment is a light word for what you feel now. A lump formed in your throat, but you shove it back. With a heavy sigh, you got up. Well, okay, I'm gonna leave then, you said with the best fake smile you could give while trying to hide hurt. It was nice to meet you, Miss Ryan, he said as you was exiting the office. You nodded, saying goodbye and going out. After you exited the hotel, you started to walk down the sidewalk to a coffee shop you saw when you was in the cab. You were so out of it, thinking what should you do now? Should you go back home? Should you try to find a job somewhere else here? Maybe some company they always need someone to translate their documents. Hell, maybe you could try and apply for waitress. No, you suck at socializing. Work in the office. You could never. Numbers don't love you. You was always bad at math. That you didn't pay any attention and bumped to someone. Meanwhile, Jung-hoon's cry woke him up again. He get it. He is just a baby. He knows, but he also know that this isn't normal. He already took him to best pediatrician, but nothing. He said that he is a perfectly healthy baby boy. He is his son for F's sake. It hurts him that he can't help him while he's crying his eyes out. He is only 2 months old and he know that babies cry non-stop whether it be because they are hungry, thirsty, or even because they need a fresh diaper. Although he is already used to those cries and he knows how to recognize them, but cry which he usually uses is some which he don't know where to place. It's not like his usual cries, there are rarely tears. It's more like he's screaming until someone starts paying attention to him. He would usually calm himself and his father would take him into his arms, but these days neither that could calm down his crying. Uh, Jungkook groaned as he got up, looking at the alarm clock. He see that it's just a little over 4 a.m. Sighing, he walked through the door that connects his room with Junghoon's. Jungkook made it as soon as he found out that he was gonna be a dad. The room is mostly white but filled with a bunch of colorful toys. As Jungkook neared Junghoon's crib like he can feel his presence, he opened his beautiful blue eyes and looked at Jungkook. And then just like he is trying to say F you, he started to scream even louder while looking at Jungkook. Jungkook chuckled at him. Shh, my son, I'm here, he said softly while lifting him from his crib into his arms. He snuggled into Jungkook's chest but continued to wail only a little bit quieter. Shh, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Shh, calm down, baby. Jungkook spoke to him and he slowly started rocked him a little till he fell asleep again. Putting him back into his crib, Jungkook pulled the thin blanket over his little body and turned around to exit his room. Jungkook stopped at the doorway and looked at him once more to see that he didn't move an inch. After he convinced himself that he is sleeping, Jungkook walked into his room and looked to see that it's almost 5 a.m. Well, I guess I'm not gonna sleep any longer, he muttered under his breath. Turning and walking into the closet, he picked a new suit for today and walked into the bathroom. After taking a quick shower and doing his business, he got dressed and headed downstairs into the kitchen. Sarah was not here. It's still early, so he went to the coffee machine, turning it on. After a couple of moments, he took his coffee and walked into the living room to browse through papers for today's meeting. Jungkook was so into the reading that he didn't even hear Sarah walk in. She was leaning at the doorway and looking at him silently. After some moments, she broke the silence. Did he woke you up again? Jungkook nodded his head silently, answering her question. Hmm, she hummed. Did you think maybe about getting a babysitter? She asked him. On the sound of that, he turned around to look at her. You can't keep an eye on him anymore? He asked her, slightly confused. Oh Oh no, no, I didn't mean it that way. I didn't. It just, I can see that you need help. And I'm old, I'm not like I used to be, she said with a small smile. You are right, he agreed. You are old, Jungkook added, laughing while she glared at him with amusement in her eyes. Don't you dare, boy. I raised you. One more comment like that, and I'm gonna make Spanish for lunch. She tries to threaten him with a serious face, but soon burst out laughing. You wouldn't, she cut him off, saying, Oh, trust me, I would. Looking at his watch, he saw that it's almost 6 a.m., so he stood up from the couch and took the papers with him. Maybe Sarah is right. Maybe he need extra help around Junghoon. Walking towards the kitchen to pick his briefcase, he stopped next to her. I'll see what I can do. I need to go now. We have a meeting in 2 hours, he said as he continued his way to the kitchen. In the kitchen, he was greeted by Ara, who was drinking water. Good morning, sir. He nodded his head as a sign of greeting. Picking up his things, he made his way towards the front door. However, as he neared the door, he heard Junghoon crying over the baby monitor. Jungkook was about to turn back and go check on him, but Sarah was already by his side. I got it, you just go. Jungkook looked at her one more time, thanking her, then turned and left. The meeting took way longer than he expected, and at the end of it, he got a call that his bodyguard found out who stole money from the company account 2 days ago. After those two idiots that stole from him decided that they don't want to tell the truth, he needed to put some grand rules. However much it sounds cheesy, no one lies to him or steals from him and gets away with it. And these efforts were thinking that they can do both. Let's just say that won't end up well for them. You ducking think that I will never find out about what you duckers did? He roared, making this MF shrink into their seats. No, no, boss, we didn't do anything. Jungkook cut them off. You didn't think that I would find out that you both took money from me? You thought, what exactly? That I'm blind? No, no, sir, we don't think you are blind. We would bring money back. Lies. He roared again. I'm done. You two are fired. Get the F out of here, he said as he tried to calm his anger so he don't do something in the middle of a meeting room. They were about to protest, but he was faster. You can get fired or get a bullet. You choose, he said with a deadly calm tone, but in his head he killed them 100 times already, every time different way. Apparently they knew what is good for them because they ran out of the room like he is gonna start shooting at moment. Moments later, Jimin walked in. Is it done? He asked him. Nodding his head, he took a seat next to Jungkook. Yes, everything is done. All money from their bank accounts is transferred to yours, and I also sent a couple of guys to keep an eye on them. Just in case. He said with a smirk on his face. Good, he said and got up to exit the room, but before he could walk out of he remembered something. Anything about Russians? He asked as he turned to look at him. No, nothing new. They are untraceable these days. But I must say, they are planning something it's too calm for my liking. Jungkook nodded at those pieces of information and turned and exited the room. Jungkook went to his office to save some documents for the next meeting, but as soon as he walked into his office, he was greeted with Kylie ducking more. This bitch is really starting to piss him off. Jungkook ducked her a couple of times before Junghoon was born, but that was it, nothing more and nothing less. Just a simple duck. But over the months, now she is still coming to him. Okay, he get it. She can't get enough of his little man. With a long, tired sigh, Jungkook looked at her as she started to walk seductively towards him, swaying her hips. Not gonna lie, she is hot, but that's it. There is no brain in that head. For duck's sake, ducking rock is smarter than her. If he could, he would put a bullet in that empty skull of hers. But unducking, fortunately, he can't do that because of her father. His company has partnerships with her father's company. If that didn't exist, that slut would be dead a long time. Hey baby, she said as she came in front of Jungkook. Hey, he said with a boring look. She was quick, so she grabbed him for his collar and pulled Jungkook into a kiss. Sloppy, if he might add. Jungkook roughly pried her hands from his dress shirt, not feeling it, showing her away from him. Then she tries to push her tongue in his mouth. Rough, just the way I like, she said while biting her lip. I'm not in the mood. What the duck you want? He asked her rudely. You, she stated with confidence as she started walking towards Jungkook. Oh, do you? He asked her husky. She eagerly nodded her head and bit her lip. Jungkook smoked as he came near her and leaned to whisper in her ear. Well, unfortunately for you, as I said, I'm not in ducking mood. Now get that duck out. He told her, making sure to make her understand. She didn't move an inch, which made him take a gun from his waistband and point it at her head. I said, get then, duck out. With every word, he tapped a barrier of a gun against her temple, causing her eyes to widen in fear. But I thought that she started to win, but he quickly cut her off. There is no we. It never was and it never will. Understand? Now get that dog out and don't come in front of my eyes ever again, he said, motioning towards the door. Her eyes shone with tears, but that didn't faze him. Probably seeing that he's not gonna change his mind, she stumped out of the office. Sighing from the relief, he turned around, walking towards his desk, putting document into one of the drawers, and with that he turned around and walked out of his office. He was about to walk into the garage when he stopped himself and turned around. Duck it. He is going to get himself a coffee. He didn't drink it since this morning. So here he is walking towards the nearest coffee shop to get a cup, and while walking, he was replaying his conversation with Sarah. He should really get a nanny for Junghoon. But where and who? He was so in his thoughts that he didn't saw the girl walking towards him, and he crashed with her.